Today, I'm talking to Yousef Rabhi, who is our state representative. Thank you for talking to me today.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, so even though you're a big, important person, I'm asking you the exact same questions that I've asked everybody. Um, what kind of changes have you had to make in your lifestyle during this pandemic? How has your life changed?
Well, as elected official, one of the things that I've been doing, used to do a lot of, was going to community events, talking to people in person, and that's the main thing that's changed dramatically. Is I don't have events every night where I'm going and shaking hands and talking face to face with people. It's basically all Zoom meetings now, and it's a whole different experience. I mean, it really is. As somebody who really likes to connect with people on a personal level, it's different in person than it is over a Zoom. And so that's definitely been a major change for me. The other thing is just how busy I am. Honestly, I've I've always been really busy, but it feels like I've never been busier, with constant basically calls coming in. Especially at the beginning when people were trying to figure out what was going on with the governor's orders. How does this impact my business? How does this impact me as an individual? It felt like it was constant, like call after call. I was getting two and three calls while I was on another call that I had to then return. And so, and it's important. I wanted to make sure that we could connect with all of these people that had different questions. And so it has been very busy. It has been completely different, but I'm trying to do as best I can given the circumstances.
What kind of precautions are you taking day to day in these situations where you can't avoid public places? Every single
Yeah.
one of us is wrestling with how are we going to get groceries now, and things that you can't. We're supposed to stay home, but what kind of routines do you have in your household?
Yeah, I mean, so for grocery shopping, but also, I have to every once in a while go in and vote in for the legislature as well. I have to go into session. So far, that's only been once or twice a week, which is better than what we usually do, which is three times a week. But obviously, I think it's the grocery store. I'm not as scared of in many ways as I am going to session, because in session it's an enclosed room where you have 110. Actually, it's usually more like 120 people that are all in the same space. And I don't want to be. I'm not trying to be partisan with this statement, but it's just facts that the Democratic side of the aisle, we all wear masks. The Republican side of the aisle, it's 50-50 on a good day. And so that to me is scary, to be in an environment where only about half the people, well, three-quarters of the people on a good day are wearing a mask, and everybody else is sort of ignoring that, the directive. But in terms of my own, what I do is I do really try to wear a mask at all times. Often I will, try to wear, gloves when I can, when I have access to them. But it's really avoiding, getting near anybody to the best degree that I can. Of course, it's hard when you're on the floor with limited space, but really trying to avoid that close, anywhere within 6 feet of another person. So, and then of course, that's really what I've been trying to do. But then of course there's again, whether it's representatives or whether it's those members of the public who come in the building and are refusing to comply with, again, public health directives. There's a lot of people around that Capitol building that are not using masks, which is inappropriate in my opinion.
Some people I have talked to describe feeling really cooped up. We've lost a lot of the outlets that we used to have, going to a coffee shop to meet a friend, or going um, into public places, a lot of which are now closed. What are your strategies for overcoming those feelings of isolation, where maybe you are looking at the same four walls a lot of the time and you're only face to face in person with a lot of the same people?
Yeah, no, that's real. And I live in a pretty small house too. So what I try to do is I try to get outside and garden as much as I can. I go on a lot of walks. I snuggle my cat. That's a key one. I think my cat is really keeping me happy. through a lot of this. She's been really, really friendly, and I think has really appreciated that I'm home so much, because the contrast to the before time was that I was really not home very much, to be honest. I was spending a lot of time in Lansing because we had session, back to back 3 days a week. And so I was, in Lansing for long periods of time. And now that I'm here at home, she's really, I think, enjoying me being around. So it's been really nice.
Do you take any special precautions when you do go outdoors?
Just try to, keep social distance from people. I think that's the main thing. I do bring a mask oftentimes, but, when I'm out by myself on a walk, usually the main thing I focus on is social distancing.
What would you say to people who are sick of the isolation? And I know that you've confronted them in person in really frightening circumstances in Lansing, but I've asked this question of everyone. What comments would you have for people who have said, look, we're done, let's get back to normal?
Yeah. I think probably what I would say is I would hope that those individuals would realize how blessed they are to be alive, and that there are thousands of our fellow Michiganders who aren't not that lucky. And if we rush back into this without the right precautions being taken, many hundreds or thousands more will die. And, having lost a colleague early on in this, the people that are saying this is like a hoax, that are saying this is, there's a lot of theories out there about what this is. And it's real when you lose somebody. And I guess the main thing I would say is I just hope that they realize how blessed they are to be alive, and to not jeopardize that for other people, or even potentially themselves.
I appreciate that. Is there anything else that I didn't ask you about that you think is worth commenting on this topic?
I think this is obviously a very difficult time, right, for a lot of people. I mean, whether, we again have somebody that we know that passed away, or who, is suffering through this horrible virus, because it does cause a lot of pain, or whether we're working through, economic, loss. There's just a lot of negativity right now around us. And what I've really been trying to do too, and I guess this gets to one of your other questions about how we've been trying to get through it, is I've really been trying to think positively about the future, because this crisis has really opened up a lot of the societal fault lines that we have already existed, frankly, flaws in the way that we do things in this country and around the world, that have really been exposed in a way that's new to a lot of people. And I've been trying to think positively and dream about the world that we can create based on what we know now, based on what we have seen, and how poorly the system has worked for so many people. I mean, if we can't, as a society, go a month, 2 months without, total economic collapse, maybe it's time to rethink how our economy works. And so this has really been an opportunity for me to kind of to think bigger and dream bigger. And what I encourage, at every opportunity I have, what I encourage people to do is to engage in that themselves. Because whether it's right now while we're, all home, using our technology to communicate, or whether it's in a time when hopefully someday we'll be able to, interact again, we have to be pushing for a new world that can be more resilient in the face of this type of crisis, whether it's a virus or something else, we need to do better as a society. And I think this is our opportunity to really think and dream and hope for a better future.
I agree. I agree completely. I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to me because I know that you're busy with a whole lot of things. So it's good talking to you.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for all your good work too. Thanks for putting these on. I think it's a great opportunity.
Thanks.